Okay, for today's lesson, we're going to be looking at this question. We're looking at, is there life on other planets? And more specifically, where could life live if there is life on other planets? And to do that, we're going to be looking at why the Earth is special, why life is definitely able to live on Earth, and what other planets might need to be like for life to survive there. So I want you to think about this for yourself first. What do you think about this? Have you heard of any other places where there might be some life? Have you ever thought of where aliens might be able to exist? And what might life be like if it does get found on other planets? So, title today is going to be Life on Earth, because we're going to be looking at how life is able to survive on Earth and what other planets, therefore, might be able to live we might be able to live on, or other things might be able to live on, that life might be able to survive there. So, first off, I want to think about why is Earth special? Why are we able to live on Earth? And why is life able to thrive on Earth, whereas it's not able to live on Mercury or on Neptune? So I want you to write down your ideas of what you think. So pause the video and write down why is life able to survive on Earth, whereas it's not able to survive on Mercury or Neptune. So write your ideas down, pause the video, and then start it again. Okay, so when you're ready, we'll discuss this. So Earth is special because of where it is. So if we think about the universe, okay, and we think about being closer and further away from the sun's rays and the heat from the sun spreads out as it comes out from the sun. And these planets like Venus and Mercury are too hot. So this sort of area here, where Venus and Mercury are, is hot. And the area outside past where Mars is, out here, is all cold. And too cold to support life, whereas it's too hot to support life too close to the sun. And Earth just about fits in a perfect place, which is called the habitable zone. Habitable meaning where life can survive. It's not too hot and not too cold. Now you might have heard that little saying before, and that gives this this area, another name, and it's sometimes called as well the Goldilocks zone. So Earth fits in this Goldilocks zone, which is called because it's not too hot, not too cold, just like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And it makes Earth habitable because liquid water can exist on Earth. So it's not so hot that all the water evaporates into steam, and it's not so cold that all the water freezes into ice. It's just right that water can be around on Earth, and that can then be a place where life can start to live. So I want you to answer a few questions now. And looking at this picture, especially, I want you to think about what else life needs other than just to be in this habitable zone. So have a think for yourselves, maybe write down a few ideas of what you think. So pause the video if you need to and write down a couple of ideas. What do you think life needs to exist other than just being the right temperature? Okay, when you're ready, we'll go through some answers. So, as well as being the right temperature, we need water. Okay, life needs, as far as we know, needs water to survive. We need oxygen, or life that we know of again needs oxygen, and we need sunlight. Okay, we need some form of energy, ideally from the sun, to be able to survive. Now we don't take in sunlight, but the plants that we eat take in sunlight through photosynthesis, so we need sunlight to give us energy in the first place. Now, this doesn't mean if all of these aren't there, doesn't mean that life's not possible. It'd just be very, very difficult. And some of the planets we're looking at today might have some of these, but not others. And it might mean that life is possible, but not easy for life to survive. So, what I want you to think about now is these three questions. I want you to have a go at answering these. So, I want you to give 3 reasons why Earth can support life, or why Earth could support life. If you were an alien looking at Earth from a different planet, why might you look at Earth and think, oh, that might be a place where that might have some life on it? I want you to explain why you would know there'd be no life on Mercury, and could life be found on Mars? So can you give me a reason why it could? And can you think of any reasons why it could not? Look, so have a look at the picture that we've got on the side over here. Look at where Mars is. And also have a think about these things here. What else life needs? Is there any of those that are missing on Mars that you know of? Okay, so pause the video now. We're answering these questions in full sentences in your books or on paper. Okay, then when we're ready, I'll go through the answers for you. So, first question, giving a reason, 3 reasons why Earth could support life. So, first off, we've got the temperature, 'cause it's in the habitable zone. We'll put temp on there, it's temperature. We've got oxygen. We have lots of water. Okay, so we've got temperature, we've got oxygen, we've got water, and we've got sunlight. So we've got all the 4 things perfectly, as well as lots of other things as well. Like we have a nice big moon, which can protect us, and we have heat coming from under the ground as well, and lots of these things that all go together to form a perfect world for us to live on. Right, next one. Explain why there is no life on Mercury. So Mercury is too close to the sun, so it is too hot because it's too close to the sun. And third question, could Mars support life? So on the yes side of this, it is because it is in the habitable zone. Even though it's only just on the edge of it, it is still in the habitable zone. But there is no oxygen. So these are reasons why it might not be able to survive. And there is not much water, okay, which we're going to have a look at in a second. So thinking about Mars specifically, okay, could we live on Mars instead of Earth? So if we think about the temperature, like I've just said, it's a bit colder than Earth. It is cold, but it can get up to 20 degrees on Mars, which is like quite a good temperature, really. Now, at the poles, it's going to be well into the minuses, and most of Mars is going to be below 0, but there are parts of Mars that do get above 0 degrees, so it could happen. We could live on Mars. Sunlight, think about that. Yes, again. Now, because it's further away from the sun, there's less sunlight on Earth than there is on Earth, sorry. So there's not going to be able to be as much sunlight for plants for photosynthesis, but there will be some. If you think about water, now water's a difficult one. There is some, but it's locked away in the ice, and there's no liquid water that we have found so far. So there is some in the ice, and we might be able to unlock that, but it'd be very difficult for life to survive there with no liquid water. And oxygen, unfortunately, no. There is a very, very thin atmosphere with almost no oxygen at all. So that is one thing that is definitely missing from Mars. So it's got some good things and some bad things, and it would be possible for life to survive on Mars, but it's probably not going to be little aliens running around. It's going to be microorganisms, so bacteria, things like that, that might be able to just survive in some of the places where on Mars where it is a bit warmer, they might have a little bit of sunlight and they might be able to get a little bit of water as well. So it might just be possible for life to survive, and it's possible that we might find life on Mars as well. So that is an example of how we can look at a planet and think, is it suitable for life? And that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of your lesson today. You're going to be doing a little bit of research. So your task is going to be to look into some other planets as well as Mars. You can have a look at Mars specifically if you want, where life might be possible, and you're going to look at, is life possible on those planets? So you've got some different planets and moons to look up here. So we've got 2 planets, Venus and Mars. So Venus, recently they've found that there might be life in the atmosphere of Venus floating around in the clouds. Even though the surface is very, very hot, there might be life in the clouds in Venus. Mars has been looked at for a long time. And then Europa and Enceladus are Europa is a moon of Jupiter and Enceladus is a moon of Saturn, and they both potentially have life underneath the surface of the planets. They have liquid water underneath the surface of the planets where there might be life surviving underneath there. It might be possible. And the thing is to consider, is there water there? So like I just said, in Europa and Enceladus, there is some water there, and it is liquid water, so the temperature must be right. But then what is the atmosphere like? How much sunlight is there? If there isn't any sunlight, okay, is there something else which could give them energy? Think about those sorts of things. So I want you to create a fact list for each, a little bit like what I did here, okay? So make a little fact list like this. So I might say the temperature, what is it like compared to the Earth? Okay. Sunlight, what is it like compared to the Earth? Does it have more sunlight, less sunlight? What is it like? Does it have water or not? Does it have oxygen or not? What's the atmosphere like? Okay. So those are the things to consider. Those are the planets to look up. Now I've put a link up at the top, and I'll put the link in the description for the video. But I think a good place to start as well. That is a good place to start, but you also need to be finding things out for yourself. So you might just type into Google, what is there water on Venus? What is the temperature on Venus? Or even just, could there be life on Venus? And you might find something that might help you with that. Okay, so that's for you to be working your way through now. Once you've done, if you can make sure you've written down your little fact files, and your teacher will tell you what to do with those who's teaching your lesson today.